White rice is one of the best dried staple foods you can store in long-term storage because it is highly nutritious, versatile, and lasts 30 years or more if packaged correctly. White rice is the backbone of my long-term emergency stores. Keeping rice long-term is simple, but it does need to be repackaged from store-bought packaging for maximum shelf life. Storing rice for long-term usage can be done in multiple ways. It can be done in small or large quantities, depending on how it will be used. Think bug-out bag versus long-term homesteading. Rice is a quick energy source, making it a great fuel source. Depending on the type of rice, it can also be a great source of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Rice is generally safer for those with food allergies or food sensitivities. If you aren't picky on the type of rice you purchase, rice is also an inexpensive addition to your prepper pantry and can generally be purchased in bulk. The length of how long rice can be stored varies by type of rice and storage conditions. Brown rice typically stores for up to 6 months in average storage conditions. White rice can be stored for between 8 to 10 years in proper storage conditions. You can also extend these timeframes by vacuum sealing rice in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. When packaging rice in an oxygen-free container, you do not need to freeze the rice before packaging it. An oxygen-free container will kill bugs, eggs, and pupae within 2 weeks. Before repackaging, the rice should contain 10% moisture or less. Dry foods packaged in an oxygen-free environment with a moisture content above 10% puts the food at risk for anaerobic bacteria, namely botulism. When repackaging your white rice, things will go a lot smoother if you stage your gear before you start pouring rice. Following is the list of tools I use to repackage white rice and other dried goods like hard grains and dried beans. Hopefully this will help you get set up for a painless session of storing rice. 18x28 Mylar bags, this is the size I use, or 20x30. 5-gallon food-grade bucket with a cheap lid. When using Mylar, you don't need a lid with a seal. 1-gallon Mylar bags for overflow. Standard clothes iron to heat seal the Mylar bag. Permanent marker to mark the package with the packing date and food type. 2,000 cubic centimeters oxygen absorbers for 5-gallon bucket lined with an 18x28 Mylar bag. 300 cc/500 cc oxygen absorbers for 1-gallon overflow bag, for extra rice that won't fit in your bucket. Wood board used to place the top of the bag over when you seal it with the iron. Scissors to cut open the rice bag. Scissors make a clean cut, so it's easier to pour the rice out of the bag. When preserving rice for long-term storage, you want to pay attention to the size of the Mylar bags you choose and the mill or thickness of the bag material. Consider is how much rice you want to expose to oxygen when the package is opened. It is less convenient, but storing rice in smaller 10x14, 1 gallon, or 14x20, 2 gallon, Mylar bags minimizes the amount of rice exposed to oxygen when the package is opened. Also, the packages are lighter and easier to handle. Even if you go with 5 or 6 gallon pails, you will be using smaller bags for overflow, the extra rice that won't fit in the 5 or 6 gallon bucket. So plan to purchase 2 sizes of Mylar bag and the oxygen absorbers to go in them. This is how I do it. Use a 500 cubic centimeters absorber in a 1 gallon bags for overflow rice. Use a 2,000 cubic centimeters oxygen absorber for a 5-gallon food-grade pail lined with an 18x28 Mylar bag. When storing rice in smaller Mylar bags, you still want to protect them, so place them inside a lidded bucket or in a lidded plastic bin to protect rice from bugs, rodents, and physical damage. You can use non-food grade buckets to store rice as long as they are lined with a Mylar bag. You don't want your rice to directly contact non-food grade plastic because the chemicals and dyes used to manufacture are toxic. You don't want your rice absorbing these toxic chemicals. According to Utah State University, you should store 25 pounds to 60 pounds of white rice per person for a year's supply. Rice is one of the many grains they suggest storing to make up the 400 pounds grain storage suggested per person for a 1-year supply. When preserving rice for maximum shelf life, pay attention to storage temperature, humidity, oxygen-free storage containers, rice moisture content before packaging, and protection from heat and light. The ideal storage temperature for rice can be tough to achieve, so do the best you can. One thing is for sure, you want to avoid storing long-term foods, including rice, in areas that aren't environmentally controlled. Store rice or other dried foods in a hot garage, and you'll shave off decades of shelf life. The humidity or amount of moisture in the air in your long-term storage pantry should be as low as possible. Moisture destroys food and packaging. Moisture is the #1 spoiler of grains like white rice, causing bacterial and mold growth.
Thank you for watching.